The scene set as Indigenous round continues 1-1 in the lower grades. The flag to the Roosters, the New South Wales Cup to the Raiders. Now the big boys eye each other off. Yeah, round 12 Super Saturday on Fox League is go. And it's the Raiders receiving the kickoff and running towards the southern end of GIO Stadium. Emre Gula, part of this starting pack for a third week in a row for Ricky Stewart. And the Milestone man, Joe Tarpany, game 200 after starting as a Newcastle Knight. This game 180 as a Canberra Raider. Levi finding Elliot Whitehead, the captain. Good to see Elliot back from injury. And another carry for an unofficial leader of the pack, Tarpany. The vice captain of the team. And now Weeks completes the opening set straight down the ground. We're awaiting. Daniel Tupou receives the bomb and goes straight to James Tedesco.
Weeks getting that kick away, and I've been very impressed with what he's been able to do off the back of his kicking game and where he's been able to position Canberra throughout the 80 minutes, because Jamal Fogarty now absent. That left a big hole, but Kyo Weeks' kicking game, I think his long kicking game is as good as Jamal Fogarty's. It's been very impressive and a good first one to get the game underway.
And made to wait to make his club debut after leaving Manly, Kyo Weeks. Come into the team in recent times after the injury to Jamal Fogarty. Nafahu White. Lots of praise from Trent Robinson pre-kickoff about Nafahu coming to the team. Walker goes high. An early test to Farapana, who makes it look easy. And starts Canberra's second set. Lara Pitt of these conditions, as good as they look.
Absolutely ridiculous, Matty. We were all bracing for the cold of Canberra today, but after a 2-degree start, it has warmed to 16 degrees, sunny, no breeze to speak of. So a fast, dry track, all the makings for an exciting game between those two.
Sebastian Chris, pin 20 short of halfway. Stutter in the step of Nick Kotrick. Levi sends it short side to Hudson Young in try-scoring form, as the Raiders won their last couple of games. They lose their way at the back end of this set. Now Weeks fashions a pass. It goes for Chris. Out for Savage, off the side of the boot. Out on the full. That's a horrible end to their second set.
Well, they got forced into error there. Just didn't really know to get to that end of the kick there. Went back up the blind side. Savage got the football, tried to kick back in field. They just got crowded. Weeks, the pass on the outside. And there's the fumble there from Savage. That's the first mistake from the Raiders. At least they tried to move the football a little bit in that set.
Here's Dom Young in try-scoring form. Offload to Crichton.
Boy, what a start there from Dom Young. His running game was sensational last week against the Sharks, and he started off in hot fashion here. Rhea Hargreaves backs it up with another big run.
Off a set restart, ruck infringement against the Raiders. The Roosters averaging 42 points per game over the last month, and there's points early for Victor Radley. He finds himself on an edge, and he finds himself racing straight through the line for an early try in the capital.
Well, there's no substitute for running hard, but it was all set up by Dom Young, the right winger there for the Roosters. Been unstoppable, hasn't he? Bounces out of tackles. The quick play the ball, they go straight away to the right edge from the play the ball. Just have a look how quick Victor Radley runs onto this football. Off a quick play the ball, straight onto it, goes through untouched, straight through. And Victor Radley, there's the answer to the question, playing on an edge there. Can he do it? I'll tell you what, he can. A couple of quick play the balls there from the Roosters, straight through. A couple of arms thrown out. Victor Radley scores the opening try.
Yeah, what a start from the Chooks with the run from Dominic Young, and even as he was falling, to flick the ball back into Angus Crichton to continue the quick play the ball off the back of that. And you're right, they had it on the back foot. That Raiders defence was just standing there waiting for Victor Radley to run at them, and no one moved. There was no chat, no talk in between. It was Seb Chris and I think Hudson Young were the players that he ran straight in between. But Victor Radley, yeah, we spoke to Trent Robinson pre-game about the move to the back row and could it be permanent. He said, well, it's specific to the Raiders, but depending on how things go. And we got Origin coming up. So Victor Radley on an edge. It's working.
Sam Walker adds the extras. It's Victor's first start on an edge since round 20 last year. So Victor goes from middle to edge, and Trent Robinson alongside Justin Holbrook ponders his move today.
Yeah, and it's a different role for him too. You see when he plays lock forward, he plays that traditional ball playing position there when he plays lock forward. But now he's a runner on that edge, right edge, straight away. First time he gets the ball, runs with plenty of courage, straight on that line, scores the opener.
It was Morgan Smitty's the other player. So he ran outside Smitty's, inside Seb Chris. And they will change the way they play because Victor isn't playing at lock too.
Well, Victor Radley raced away, and now Waria Hargreaves runs hard into Hudson Young. Right as I made a point about their point-scoring success over the last month, the Roosters, 168 coming into this game. So, yeah, 42 points per game as they head into the capital this afternoon, and they are greeted by these conditions. As we near winter, it's dry, it's warm, it's sunny, and it's Lindsay Smith through the middle.
Hey, Jordan! You know, the other thing, they lead the league on both sides, left and right, when they do score points. So it's not one-dimensional, their attack. They can attack everywhere.
There's some worrying signs for the Raiders' defence. There was a number of missed tackles throughout that set, and the Roosters took the ball 50 metres forward.
Sam Walker's bomb almost up and down on the spot. It falls for the Roosters, and now it's called knock on by referee Todd Smith. So the Raiders to get possession. Great balance to their attack blocker. Back to the point you made as we look at the attempted pushback by Manu, then it's lost by Radley.
Well, they won it. They won the tap back. Victor Radley had the ball in his hands and lost it. Otherwise, it was another set for the Roosters.
The Roosters 26 tries down the left, 24 down the right. Top of the league and great balance in both regards. So Canberra. Possession through Morgan Smithies. Off victories against Manly and Canterbury, split only by the bye as Whitehead gets the ball away. Tarpany trying to dance through the middle of the field. He's confronted by Crichton and Radley. Fahu wide in there as well. Here's Weeks. This time it's a bomb. Just held back a little bit on it to give the chaser time to get through. And the catch is won by the Roosters. Daniel Tupou above them all.
Yeah, terrific take there from Daniel Tupou because he almost lost that on the way down. But was able to grab it on a second attempt before it got to the ground. Great reflexes there from Daniel Tupou.
Now Manu. But it again in replay, lost it. And lucky he's got long arms to get it back just before the ground. Tedesco with a runner now. Walker the kick. And he splits the men at the back. Rapana just throws himself at the defence. Didn't even think of bringing Kotrick into play.
It was a big in for the Raiders last week with Rapana returning. And although he sails close to the wind, his competitiveness just brings the best out in the rest of the side. He was a great in for them last week against the Dogs and will be important the remainder of this game.
Here's Xavier Savage trying to fend his way clear of Brandon Smith and Walker. Levi. It's the ball away for Strange to try and skip to the outside of Manu, unsuccessfully. The kick from Weeks, again high. The highest he's sent it this afternoon, down for Dom Young. Catching on his goal line, tipped on by Tedesco. Tupou is away. Fending his way down the field, Daniel Tupou. What a kick return by the Roosters.
Gee, we've seen it come into the game now, haven't we, this season especially? Caught on their own lines. Teams starting to spread the football early, and they get a penalty on the back of that. What a run from Tupou. We talk about Origin wingers. I wonder if they still talk about him. Been a great player.
Let's go there, Brandy. The players who are being mentioned in Origin discussion in this game are dominated by Roosters. Tedesco, Tupou, Swali'i, Luke Keary, Collins, Crichton, Leniu, and of course the Raiders' Hudson Young. But we look at James Tedesco there, definitely Swali'i Tupou Tedesco. It's part of the New South Wales depth chart.
Wait for the tap.
As the Roosters come on the attack off the back of that. Tedesco.
He went for a little trick play back down the short side. The Raiders defence read it well, though.
Keary for Warrior Hargreaves.
Geez, run hard to start the game. He is not aging one bit.
I was about to say, does he know any other way blocker? JWH, Keary. Now it's Collins. Plenty of his teammates are about to become sworn enemies in coming weeks. The Queenslander just short of the line. Brandon Smith at dummy half. For Keary, tipped on by Walker. And no way through for Radley this time, felled by Strange and Young. The kick, through the line magnificently for Keary. It's Sam Walker setting up his fellow half, and the Roosters have a second.
Is there a better halfback in the game with the short kick? Because Sam Walker over the last month has produced some magical moments off his boot. That one was beautiful. Just dragged the defence up, got some space where it's never easy to get some space when you're in and around the play the ball so close to the try line. Luke Keary knew what was happening and was there to pounce on the ball. What a set it was. They got the penalty off the back of a couple of plays off their own try line, and then 3 tackles into the set. They come up with a try, a beautiful kick from Sam Walker, and Keary just smothers the ball to make sure he forces it with his torso.
You're right, Brandy. They knew exactly what was going on. There's no way you can be offside if the dummy half kicks the football like that. That was well planned. 17 try assists between these two guys this season. Is there a better halves pairing in the competition? What a try it is.
Well, is it a try? As we look at the replays here, I was about to give...
He's dropped it.
Well, does it touch his elbow before it gets onto his torso?
I was about to praise him for intentionally grounding with his torso, given the awkward grounding he was confronted with.
But it might have glanced his elbow on the way down.
Off his elbow.
So try yet to be confirmed.
Well, it's hard to... I thought the ball was a little bit lower. Then it's easy to ground it with your torso. When the ball's up in the air, like it was then, it's very hard to ground it with your torso and just keep it there, Matty. And I think we will see a ruling of it's grazed his forearm or his elbow, and that would...
Kick chase from the Roosters is onside.
Constitute a knock-on.
At this point, Morgan Smithies illegally grabs Luke Keary over the arm, which twists and rotates his body.
They're going to give a penalty try here because he got there first. If Smithy has grabbed him on the way through.
Yeah, but does that affect the way he put the ball down?
Are they going to rule that the contact from Smithies denied him using his hands to ground the ball? Well, the replay suggests he still could have used his hands.
Luke Keary then knocks the ball on. Due to the action of Morgan Smithies, we are going for a penalty try.
Yeah, because he would have been first to the ball.
Scored except for the grab of Morgan Smithies.
He was the only one near the ball.
Well, Canberra Raiders fans are saying, how did that affect the way that Luke tried to ground the ball?
I don't think it did. I don't think it did.
And it was minimal touch too. He didn't really knock him off balance or anything.
It's a penalty try.
Look, he doesn't even grab him.
Barely grazes him. I don't think it affects anything that happens after he just grabbed him by the arm slightly, because he quickly got himself back on track, back running square to the ball. Did it have any impact on him?
Can't do. Okay. The assessment is he's got to the ball first, and without that interference, a try would have been scored, mate. That's the decision.
He clear was there.
Yeah, mate. But he got there first, okay? And Elliot.
You can't say he scored it.
Elliot, with the illegal grab, that's disadvantaged him, and that's the decision, okay?
There are plenty of Raiders in GIO Stadium who agree with their captain wholeheartedly.
Well, I'm finding it hard to argue with what Elliot Whitehead said.
So it's 12-0 to the Roosters, and Ricky Stewart has just locked that away in the memory bank for the post-match media conference.
Nevertheless, that takes nothing away from the start that the Roosters have made to the game.
Yeah.
They have, the opening 13 minutes of it has been all Roosters. They've been special with the ball, and they probably deserve to lead 12-0, but I don't know if I agree with this.
Well, it's so tempting to throw your arm out if someone runs right past you like that. It's hard to not try and impede him a little bit. Throws the arm out. I don't think there was much in it.
And I suppose there are plenty of Roosters fans looking at that replay saying, well, that twist to the upper body affected him mentally as to how he was then going to ground the ball. We'll never know. It's a penalty try. It's 12-0 to the Roosters. And Jared Warrior-Hargreaves is still running hard blocker.
At least they're 2 kickoffs that Jared's had, plus the other couple of runs that he's made. He's winning every time he runs the ball.
Well, he's come out with intent. I mean, yeah, he's just put it upon himself to really try and put it straight to this forward pack of the Canberra Raiders, and he's winning the battle at the moment, big Jared. Here he goes again.
Straight through the middle, careering into bodies, head-to-head. Roosters, Raiders, it's 38-32 in favour of the Bondi boys, but they've had a tough time in the capital. Their strike rate here below 30%. No shot out of the box today. Keary gets the kick away. Straight down the ground for Rapana. And Jordan returns the kick. Since the 2019 Grand Final meeting, it's 4-3 in favour of the Raiders head-to-head. Here's Kotrick. Matty Timoko. Given no room at all. They're ready for some defence, the Roosters, after conceding 38 last week. Now a penalty, and they needed that, Canberra.
It just shows how enthusiastic they are in defence to start this game. Up off their line, putting the pressure on Manu, and it was penalised that time. Didn't the Raiders need it? They were doing it tough getting over the halfway line here. They haven't been down the other end yet. This will help.
Late in the set, they concede a penalty, and they invite Canberra downfield. Trent Robinson watching on. Here's Hudson Young. Plenty of Roosters screaming at Seb Chris in the tackle. Did they think he lost the ball? It's play on. Levi. Now Tarpany. Smithies tips it on. And here's Emre Gula. A solid tackle from Nofahu White. Strange. Now Rapana. He's tackled by Radley. Still 2 plays left for the Raiders. Smithies with White up in his grill quickly. Levi deep to his 5'8", and Strange measures the kick. It's there. It's still there. The bounce comes down for Kotrick. Okay. Canberra claim their first.
They can get it backwards.
Todd Smith says try. He says it was knocked backwards. Canberra say we're on the board.
Well, Daniel Tupou looked like he had that one covered, and the Raiders were also around it. Here's the Seb Chris run where, he's dropped it cold. Dropped it cold, Seb Chris. Allowed to play on, and then it's the kick from Ethan Strange across the field. Gets it right on the try line. The Roosters collide, and was it a hand from Elliott Whitehead that knocked it backwards? Well, that was pretty clever from Elliott Whitehead, because he had a couple of tall players around him in Swali'i and also Daniel Tupou. He won the race to hit the ball, make contact with it, and got it to go backwards, which isn't easy in that situation.
Well, his timing was perfect there from Whitehead. I thought he was offside at the first glimpse, but looking at the replay, gets there first, 3 Roosters around the ball. Good presence of mind to knock that ball back.
Did he
Kotrick
knock
just
it
cleans
back?
up the scraps.
Did he knock it back, Block? That angle there will have Roosters fans howling, but try confirmed.
That side-on angle didn't look good in terms of knocking it back, because you're thinking, well, was he on the try line because it bounced before the try line? So I guess that gave the impression that it went backwards, Matty.
You decide at home, does this ball go backwards?
He touches the ball a good metre before the try line, and it goes forward.
Couple of controversial tries early. Penalty try, Luke Keary. Now a try to the Raiders after a cold drop by Seb Chris. A controversial ruling regarding knock forwards or knock backwards.
Exactly what I was saying before the game. Here's a conversion Exactly what I was saying before the game. They love to get in the scrap, get down in the gutter, and that's a scrappy try to get the Raiders back in it.
Yeah, Seb Chris, well, that's one they got away with, but they were still able to come up with points off the back of their first set down that end of the field. The Roosters had owned the opening 15 minutes of the game, so it's a good fight back and something that the Raiders have been accustomed to this year, being behind, fighting their way, keeping their heads in a game, and then pouncing at the end. So they needed to score because at that stage, at 12-0, the Roosters were well on top.
And for those wondering at home, the bunker can't jump in there. It's up to the on-field referee and the sideline officials to rule on that knock on. Play didn't stop. And now another penalty to Canberra.
Nafahu.
Momentum shifting as Nafahu White is called for a shoulder charge.
Well, a bit of ball going the Raiders' way.
Nafahu White returning to the team, having sat out the last couple of games. And interesting to hear Trent Robinson pre-game. Love him as a player. Love him as a player. Just wanted to find a way to get him into the lineup. So Nat Butcher has a rest. Joseph Manu returning. Nafahu White in. Sandon Smith back from suspension. And the changes for the Roosters.
I just wonder if Tarpany's had a good start to the game for the Canberra Raiders. Without his partner in crime, had to play longer minutes here this afternoon.
Going on for Elliott Whitehead, yet no Josh Papali'i because of that hip drop suspension. So Peter Holler onto the bench. Here's Kyo Weeks unable to get away. You heard the contact. Waria Hargreaves on Rapana. The kick across the ground towards Young, who elevates. What a catcher he is. What an athlete, Dom Young. He was in a different class as he contested that kick.
They have got an advantage, haven't they, with Dominic Young and Daniel Tupou on the wings, but the Raiders have just shown that they can still come up with a try off a kick, but you're not going to get up over the top of Dom Young in that sort of situation.
You've got to change your kicking game and kick the third man in or something like that rather than going for those big, tall wingers. They'll have to adjust on the run here.
Collins forced onto his back by Levi. Now Waria Hargreaves again. His 6th carry of the game for nearly 80 run meters. What a start from the veteran. The grubbering kick down towards Rapana. Away from Kotrick, and Jordan straight and hard again.
He's picked Luke Keary out a couple of times in the kick return.
Now Timokot with that leg drive. You see how strong he is. Diminutive in stature. Don't let that fool you. Savage. Cut down by Brandon Smith. Right after that tackle, Smith slow back to his feet. He is now.
He's hurt his shoulder there. The way he went into that tackle.
There's a hobble also for Sam Walker. So a couple of incidents for Lara to keep an eye on there as we look at Emre Gula. All wrapped up by Crichton. Final play, Raiders. Kyo Weeks out towards the wing of Tupou this time. It's pushed backwards by the Raiders, picked up by Tedesco. And luckily Jordan Rapana is there to shut down the opposition fullback.
He just slipped just as he took that ball there, Tedesco. Otherwise, it was going to be a foot race.
Walker still trouble. Here's Swaliti.
He is trying to walk it out, but the trainer with him.
Big moment here for the Roosters. Sam Walker staying on the field. Brandon Smith's okay. Keary has to kick. Walker in back play. It's weighted perfectly into the in goal. Good luck, Jordan Rapana. He fends away from Keary, who rides him touch in goal, along with Tedesco.
Yeah, you talked about Walker's short kicking game. What about the vision here of the 5'8" in Keary? Just places the ball over the top, beautifully positioned, and then the chase was on. Rapana can't get back on the field of play.
Yeah, he's done some work, Luke Keary. Chasing kicks, tackling Jordan Rapana a number of times on kick returns. He got him that time too. chased his own kick. That's the Brandon Smith tackle around the hips of Xavier Savage, and also where Sam Walker picked up a bit of an ankle problem.
So the short goal line dropout falls for Tedesco right in front of the posts. Nafahu White menacing this defence early. It was Hudson Young grabbing hold of a boot. Brandon Smith for Keary. Now Tedesco shows it, and Teddy strolls through. The Roosters have a third.
Coming to tackle 3, have no try.
Well, there's a Raider on the ground.
Near the lead runner, Victor Radley.
There's a Raider on the ground. I thought the formation that the Roosters had, and they were nice and deep, while the Raiders were getting quickly off their defensive line, the depth allowed Tedesco some space, but maybe the run of, and the lead run of Victor Radley also offered Tedesco the space. Well, he's run on the inside. You can't knock anyone over, but he didn't run to the outside shoulder.
Just need to have a look at the lead runner of Victor Radley here and the impact he has.
He's denied him the chance, hasn't he? He's knocked him over anyway.
Yep. It doesn't always have to be outside shoulder.
Yeah.
Because he's inside there.
I couldn't believe the ease that he just went straight through there, the show and go.
Well, he made contact with his leg too. So Strange is moving out, trying to get to Tedesco because he knows the ball's going there, and Victor takes him out.
Ethan Strange is looking to slide to his left. Victor Radley makes contact, and James Tedesco plays back through this space. We have a decision.
Tedesco will be taken back.
So even though the contact wasn't made on the outside shoulder, you could see that Strange was trying to get to Tedesco. He'd already started to move, and the contact Victor made on him knocked his legs from under him, took him out, couldn't get to the Tedesco tackle, and that's exactly where James ran.
Easy one for Adam G in the bunker. As you look at it again, we might go sideline. Lara, you got an update on Sam Walker.
Yeah, it is his left knee that seems to be troubling him. The trainer did some treatment on it, and he's going to battle on for now.
And it was taped to start the game, that left knee, so a jarring action in that tackle has caused him some discomfort. We'll keep an eye on the Roosters number 7. You're attacking Wiz. Tarpany in this milestone game, game 200. Game 100 for him was the 2019 grand final against the Roosters. So a set restart as Adam Arriota finds game time now, part of this young, new-look bench. Adam Arriota, Trey Mooney, Peter Holler, Ricky Stewart underlining the importance of those 3 pre-game. Mariota again. A couple of good ones to learn from in Bapali, Ian Tarpany. Speaking of whom, he goes on through Strange. Hudson Young has it. Smithies catching pass for Tarpany, out the back. Here's Kyo Weeks. Felled by Smith and Keary. Tarpany has to get rid of the ball, and he can't. The defence denied him the offload, and they'll turn it over only a few metres out.
That's good ruck defence there from the Roosters. There was some footwork there from Joe Tarpany right at the death. I thought he might have been able to get himself in between defenders and get the offload, but there was enough Roosters there to wrap him up. So again, some pressure from the Raiders, and the possession has evened up. Both sides now getting through 9 sets.
Here's Joseph Swali'i. Greg Alexander, you said pre-game you have him on a wing in your Blues team. We'll see how Joseph goes today and what the selectors announce in the next couple of days. Keary. 7 Roosters today as part of Origin discussions. Some certainties, others hoping to force their way in for game 1 or at some stage through the series. The last play for the Roosters, Keary.
That's Manu down in the back play too for the Roosters.
The kick towards Kotrick is fielded, and Jordan Rapana just points him on his way. This time it's your turn, Nick. Yeah, Joey Manu hobbling back into position now, but in significant discomfort. And Savage looping around, gets the ball, can't get away. He went for the accelerator. Radley got a piece of him, but Savage has not stopped yet. Great run, Xavier Savage.
Yeah, and it was the ball from Matt Timoko. He ran across the field and linked up with Xavier Savage, bouncing off Roosters defenders, got a good pass away, and Savage advanced the ball 40 metres upfield.
Levi finding Weeks. Stopped by Terrell May. What a bench it is. Sandon Smith, Butcher, Leniu, Terrell May. For the time being defending. Hudson Young just swatting a Rooster out of the way. It was Sam Walker given a free ride at GIO Stadium. Now Strange, the chip into the in goal. It's there for a long time. And Luke Keary takes it dead but says, hang on, I want you to investigate Trey Mooney and his role in this.
I think when you've got two little halves either side, Luke Keary and Sam Walker, the obvious part of the game plan will always be attack the halves. Big bodies against little bodies. Here's the run from Savage after the offload from Matt Timoko. He bounced out of that Victor Radley tackle, but they are really targeting.
Elliott, no. Captain's challenge from the Roosters. On-field decision made is a goal line dropout. Roosters are challenging.
They really are targeting the halves. Luke Keary's done he's been under the pump. He's made 9 tackles already. Sam Walker's made 8 tackles already, and it's the back rowers that are picking them out, and Jordan Rapana.
The big blokes picking on the little ones, but for the time being, the Roosters are contesting.
At this point, Luke Keary is shadowing the ball.
I thought he touched it before.
The ball touches Luke, however, it then touches the Raider post that, knocking it into Luke Keary, which makes it dead off the Raiders last. He's allowed to shadow the ball, but then once it touches the Raider, he's now not playing at the ball.
Yeah, Mooney was trying to hit the ball back into the field of play.
Gee, that's a good challenge from the Roosters.
Showed plenty of calmness too, didn't he? Experience there.
It's a big swing, isn't it? From goal line dropout to 7 tackle set, starting at the 20.
Massive result for the Roosters.
After the Raiders were building a bit of momentum, they thought with another set to come. Dominic Young, try scorer in his last 4 games, 6 in total in that stretch. Now Spencer Leniu out there for Trent Robinson. Brandon Smith shooting out a dummy half and into a strong tackle from Ethan Strange. Who else? Terrell May. Nice and direct in this set. 4 tackles down. Brandon Smith. The Fahu White, bit of footwork. And they've come more than 60 metres, giving Luke Keary an attacking kick out towards Tupou, who wins the jump. Swali'i back in field. Leniu finds support in Sam Walker. It's still on for the Roosters. A long ball out to Joey Manu from the left to the right, and ultimately over the sideline.
Well, that was spectacular from the Roosters. First off with the Daniel Tupou catch. I don't know why Dom Young didn't swing around on the inside there. He was standing 3 metres outside the field of play.
Yeah, he didn't have much room to work in, did he?
On-field ruling is a lost ball from the Roosters, a hand over to Raiders. Canberra challenging.
Cut back inside.
Roosters challenging. Claiming a strip.
They're claiming a strip.
They're going to challenge again. They're 1 from 1 on the challenge front today.
If Dom Young was inside him there, Joey Manu just flicks the ball to him.
At this point, Xavier Savage is just wrapping the ball up. Joey Manu pulls his left hand away, just letting go of the ball.
That's right.
And then goes into touch. The challenge is unsuccessful.
Good call block.
Last tackle.
There's Dom Young. He's 3 metres outside the field of play. If he pops back on the inside of Joey, that was a... Look, he's looking for someone to flick the ball to.
Terrell move!
Xavier Savage was using the leverage on the arm to try and drag Joey Manu's sideline, and Joey realised if I let go here, could be ruled a strip. Adam G saw it differently. Now, The Raiders are back in possession. 12 minutes left in the first half. The first 2 tries to the Roosters. The last one scored by Canberra. Levi, Rapana. The crowd enjoying these conditions and the teams as we look at Weeks high. Down to Tupou, who makes the catch and comes to Tedesco. Now Tedesco still going, feeding Manu. He come from the western side back over to the east. Dom Young for Tupou. Winger to winger.
Had a rushing Canberra defender out of the line, and just a little tip on there from Dom Young to Daniel Tupou. A flop gives the Roosters a penalty, but they've been good from the backfield, haven't they, the Roosters? Kick returns, moving the ball, and while they haven't really made line breaks, they're making a lot of metres and shifting this Canberra defence around.
Yeah, he's got to be careful, Levi, just sprinting up out of the line in front of his own players. That's why they got the penalty there. They made a long-range break there again, trying to lead the line speed, but you've got to take your teammates with you.
Penalties just in favour of Canberra.
That hurt Spencer.
Yeah. Here's Crichton. Now Brandon Smith out of dummy half. Head down, going to work. That distinctive running style on show. Crichton. He goes it alone, straight into the arms of 3 Raiders. Smith for Walker. High across the ground. In the air, it's knocked on by Canberra. Picked up by Tedesco. And the tackle count restarts. Now it goes over the sideline. No advantage, knock on Canberra. The Roosters will keep the ball.
Well, they breathe a sigh of relief there, the Roosters. They all thought they'd thrown it away, and they very quickly said, let's go back to the knock on, no advantage. Brandon Smith's, well, it's...
As soon as he sees one marker, away he goes.
What a handful he is. Like, it's frantic, isn't it, the run? It's you don't know where he's going.
I don't think he does.
He's down low to the ground, so hard to tackle.
Got 10 seconds.
Brandon Smith, 3 runs today, with more to come given the effectiveness of the first 3.
Jordan, head in.
Here he is at the back of the scrum, feeding Manu on for Keary. Now Crichton, wrapped up by Weeks, Whitehead and Levi. Fahu White fends away from Hudson Young, but only momentarily. He burst through the other side of the tackle. Nafahu.
Hold up, tackle 2.
What I like about him, he doesn't wait around for those more superstar type players to do something for him. He's in there burrowing away himself. Been great in the first half, White.
The coach's kind words having an effect as Keary, Crichton back at an angle. Here's Tedesco, wrapped up, one-on-one. Good tackle, Hudson Young. Smith again, passing this time for Walker. Manu changes the angle. Joey loses the ball. It's on the ground, picked up by Rapana. The Raiders hold on.
Did Joey Manu try and kick that then? Or did he just lose it?
Okay, first knock on Roosters.
He wouldn't have tried to kick it on tackle 3. He did.
Yes, he did.
He did.
With no room at all. There was some pretty heavy traffic around him trying to put a kick in midway through the set. James Tedesco was the chaser, the intended result of it, but they turned possession over.
It's a funny place to try and put a grubber kick in there, especially when you've made a number of clean breaks in the first half. And the 4th tackle to put a grubber kick in.
We've got a good start to Super Saturday. Sunny, big crowd in the house responding to the form of the Raiders and the Roosters. And the 3 o'clock time slot. Later on, we're off to Shark Park. Cronulla against Penrith. Then tonight, South Sydney, Parramatta. All ahead on your Fox League Round 12 Super Saturday. As Kotrick disappears beneath 4 Roosters.
Matt Timoko with a trainer now after that tackle, just trying to bend the knee.
Long ball here, Brandy, out to Savage. Had no room in which to move. It's strange. Good run. Trey Mooney.
Shortened defensive line here on the left-hand side, sorry, for the Roosters. I wonder if they'll try and run the ball, something a little bit different here.
Here's the shift blocker, well predicted. It comes for Timoko to kick as he was being tackled, and it's gone out on the full.
Well, you're right, Block. Both wingers had dropped back. Daniel Tupou was back 15, 20 metres behind the defensive line. Kaio Weeks obviously saw that out there to Elliot Whitehead. Timoko down the touchline. Tough kick to get it back in field with Joseph Swaliti all over him.
Tough run to have for Timoko. He just emerged from a check with the trainer. He's okay now. So a set restart as Egan Butcher finds his way onto the ball. Spencer Lemieux, catch and pass for Crichton on this left edge. Walker for Terrell May. As Trent Robinson works his way through this bench, you're reminded of the talents on offer, how deep this squad is.
Well, you know the thing, Matty, they don't lose any momentum, the Roosters, when they bring their bench players on. Powerful players in May, and so Spencer Lemieux.
Crichton with that last run. It's Keary now, passing for Walker. Tedesco. Now Manu as the defence slides off Joey Manu. He brushes through. The Roosters are in again. 16-6 to the Sydney Roosters.
I just want you to watch in the replay, Sam Walker and Keary straighten their team up. They play inside shoulder, which gives Manu the space on the outside. Just watch the way how they take to step back in, straighten up, dig into the line, which gives Manu the space. He doesn't need anyone. Seb Chris can't make the tackle. He's missed a few in the first half. Manu scores the try.
The big fend just disposed of Seb Chris block. This angle will show it perfectly. Go away. I'm in for the try. Xavier Savage had to stay on Dom Young. Seb Chris said, I've got my opposite centre. Joey Manu said otherwise. And Joey, the try scoring continues. 4-pointer number 9 of the season block.
Well, the other thing you think back to, just only a couple of minutes ago, the Canberra Raiders spread the football in their own half. Caught the Roosters out, caught short, but then they shift the ball straight away when they get the ball back. And Manu, wonderful fend, so strong, great timing with that fend. And Chris has had a hard afternoon with him. Been a hard man to handle. He's had that arm free a couple of times for the flick pass too. Hasn't been able to get away. He does it all himself this time.
Swaliti lifts the flags. Joey Manu with a great recent try-scoring record against the Raiders, including a couple of doubles. Goes in, and the kick makes it 18-6. Here it is again.
Just love the way they square them up. The two halves involved in everything for the Roosters this season. It's in the 17 try assists for both those guys there for the year. They've got a great combination. And just like that, the Roosters, they look like they're under the pump a little bit. They haven't played that badly, the Raiders, but hardly been up the other end. 18-6. They can just start to tick the scoreboard over.
And Block, if you divide the ground into left, right, and middle, the Roosters now 26 tries on the left, most in the league. 26 tries on the right, most in the league. Look at this run from Spencer Lemieux, winding up Dom Young. Off the back of that, he's on the charge as well.
Well, they're the sort of runs you need in Origin. They're talking about Lemieux maybe in the 17 or 18th man. I'll tell you what, with runs like that.
And Terrell May with a strong carry. The back-pedalling Raiders concede a penalty, tap and go, they want to play on. There's some size, there's some strength and determination. And the Roosters with Brandon Smith now. Why wouldn't you continue to run out of dummy half? What a set, or a couple of sets since the kickoff. Smith for Walker. Oh, look at Spencer Leniu. He started it, he almost finished it. Brandon Smith long for Keary to kick. It's off Elliott Whitehead. Rebounding backwards. Daniel Tupou picks it up. And you're right, the tackle count restarts. There's a long couple of minutes before half-time here for Canberra.
Well, they'll know it too, the Roosters. They'll throw everything at them, try and get on that scoreboard before half-time.
Little juggle there from Walker. He got it back in time, and now it's knocked on by Dom Young. Tedesco had to hurry the pass. It arrived in a tricky situation for Young, and he fumbles the ball.
Yeah, just try to tap it on there, Tedesco. Maybe we've been better off trying to take the tackle. Here's the hit up. Spencer Leniu. These are the sort of guys you want in Origin. Straight off the back fence, away he goes, takes the defence on. And I worry about people saying, can he play longer than 15 minutes? They might need him any longer than that.
Look how close he went at the other end of the field. Spencer Leniu hasn't scored this season. Of course, this is only game number 4, given that suspension out of Vegas. So he's fresh, he's fit, and he's ready if needed. Should the phone light up tomorrow, Stephen?
Well, after a couple of runs like that too, the coach will be looking at him, I'm sure. He's in the sights. He's just got to get to half-time now and just regroup. They haven't played that badly in the first half. The Roosters just ask so many questions of you defensively. They can't wait to get to half-time, the Raiders.
Here's Trey Mooney. They'll believe, given they came from 20-0 down against Manly, 20-12 down against Canterbury. They're only 18-6 down in the last minute of the first half. Strange. Comes into a good tackle from Sam Walker. Out of dummy half, Seb Chris just burns a tackle. And it's the last play for the Raiders. A long ball to no one. Kyo Weeks eventually gets it on the bounce. Puts the torpedo bomb across field that's allowed to bounce. Now Swaliti shuts it down, and a penalty will go to the Roosters. Offside Canberra.
No, it's not quick. In front of the kicker.
Well, that's the end of the first half. We will just have the completion by the Roosters.
Just kick it out, and that'll be all she wrote in the first half.
They're all offside. They're all offside. Keary, are they thinking 2-point field goal here? They're still their own side of halfway. What's the option here? Sam Walker long for Keary. There's a trick plays there. Joey Manu straightens, takes the tackle, and that'll do us for the first half. 3 tries to 1. The Roosters through Manu, Keary and Radley crossing against the 1 try to Nick Kotrick. Lead at half-time, 18-6.
Oh, they're a great...
We are set for kick-off in the second half. The Roosters out by 12 in front of this big Canberra crowd. Their team needs a comeback. Dom Young fielding the first kick in the second half. The first half saw the Roosters complete 6 extra sets to Canberra and produce a power game off the back of it. Part of it delivered by Spencer Leniu. Now Terrell May, they're straight back to business. Brandon Smith running out of dummy half. Jared Warrior-Hargreaves providing the foundation. Matt Russell, Greg Alexander, Steve Roach and Lara Pitt in Canberra to bring you this one.
He got through in the first half, Spencer Leniu, and almost got through there. He is a powerhouse with the ball in his hand.
Tedesco, Swaliti, back to Tedesco. He looked outside, hit, spin, determination personified. James Tedesco just kept going. and gives the Roosters a bigger lead with the first try post half-time.
Well, what an opening set from the Roosters. It was Dom Young, then it was Spencer Leniu. They had the Raiders on the back foot, and then they go down that left-hand side, and James Tedesco steps and dummies his way through. Luke Keary to the line, out the back to Tedesco, hands there to Swali'i, inside ball to Teddy, looked to throw a pass, but then, as he can do, just bouncing off defenders on his way to the try line. And a try in the opening set, Swali'i just throwing the dummy. Beautiful play there, catching his fullback back on the inside. And then Tedesco doing it all himself block.
Yeah, trying to take Swali'i around the legs, and just the ability to offload. Manu, Swali'i, with the ability just to stand in tackles and offload. I think Teddy Tedesco was surprised he's in the clear then. Just bounced out of the tackle, as we've seen all throughout his career. Found himself in the open and thought, hello, there's the try line there, I might just put it over. What a start to the second half. You're right, Matty. The power game of the Roosters in the first half. Spencer Leniu, what a start it was from Wira Hargraves. But they've just clicked on straight away after half time and scored the opener early.
Well, they got themselves back in the game, the Raiders, and were able to score a try. On the first set, really, they spent inside Rooster territory. But the glut of possession that ended up going the Roosters' way at the back end of that half saw Manu score a try late in it to extend the lead to 12.
Joseph Swali'i adds the extras. Nick Politis will be delighted. It's 24 points to 6.
And James Tedesco with glowing praise from his coach Trent Robinson in our pre-game. Back to his best. He never has seen him dip down in form, but of course it has been such a big talking point with Dylan Edwards breathing down his neck and in form himself for Penrith, who are in action, as we know, in our very next game at the foot of the mountains. Just the messages from halftime. Trent Robinson, he just said, stay disciplined, be prepared for the Raiders to throw the ball around. Ricky Stewart, he was positive. Not sure he'll feel that way right now, though. His messages were limit errors and tighten things up in defence. Certainly, second half hasn't begun the way he would want.
No, absolutely not, Lara. The kickoff. The kickoff was horrible for the Roosters. And Brandon Smith gets the ball eventually, but that was a close call.
Behind you.
Well, someone's hurt. Egan Butcher's hurt. There was a collision as the Raiders chase team, and it was an awkward kickoff. It was a spiralling kickoff that saw the ball bounce a couple of times. Goes back towards the Canberra chase. Oh, Egan Butcher just, I don't know, a collision with one of the players, or was it at all? He's done his knee.
He knew straight away, sadly. No Nat Butcher today, but Egan off the bench for Trent Robinson starting this second half, and the problems around that kickoff could spell a bigger problem for
he's just stepped and went down, and often you just see that is classic ACL, but he's stayed on the field, which is good. That's good news.
He's out the back with the trainer, having left the trainer now. So
it's good to get the reassurance off the trainer when they do that test on your knee to say, mate, looks like you're okay. All of a sudden you spring up, you're all right. I think you panic a little bit when that happens.
Well, he's not out of the woods yet.
No, he's not, Matt. He's struggling just behind play at the moment.
He's willing that knee to come good and hoping to stay on the field as the ball goes to the other side of the ground, where Spencer Leniu rumbles forward. I'll tell you what, there are a few blokes out there for the Roosters who couldn't be doing any more to impress state selectors. Walker, high down the ground for Rapiner underneath it. And the Raiders now have a mountain to climb. Down by 18.
You're just going to watch Butcher out of that tackle. He was the man that was first up. Still hobbling. There's two in a row from him. Courageous effort.
Weeks in at dummy half, feeding Sebastian Chris. No way around Brandon Smith. So he's still out there and moving more freely by the moment. Egan Butcher. Here's Trey Mooney. A lot of time in the New South Wales Cup as the Raiders maintain patience with Trey, knowing his potential. Here's the kick, high out towards the wing of Tupou. And Daniel goes straight to his evasive fullback. Hard to evade Adam Mariotta.
Well, I think the ball movement from the back obviously was brought up at half-time from Ricky Stewart. Their chase was deeper then. It was far more across the field than just a couple of Raiders chasing. They allowed the Roosters too much latitude in the first half with their ball movement off the back of kick returns.
Straight after this game, we're off to the Shire in southern Sydney. Cronulla against Penrith. The Sharks keep beating the top 8 opponents as they have the Roosters and Melbourne. That's next to Swali'i. He was tackled by Whitehead and Weeks. Now Keary.
Gee, I like the way that Keary just springs the ball straight away. Doesn't take steps, straight this way early. Try and get him one-on-one with the outside men. He knows that they're starting to dominate out there, out wide. It's good play.
Remember, the Raiders came from 20 down against Manly to win, from 8 down against the Dogs with 11 men for a period to win. They're down by 18 against the Roosters as Savage. Plenty of run meters for Xavier in the first half. And his team is trying to invite this big crowd into the contest.
Yeah, he's coming. Ball!
The defence from the Roosters much better after giving up 38 against Cronulla at Magic Round. This is Morgan Smithies. Last play. Weeks sends it high. Tedesco says it's my ball and he gets it with a fumble into Rapana. Knock on Roosters.
Well, it did look like he was first to the contest, didn't it? James Tedesco
into a defender.
Seemingly made contact with the ball first. Sort of Fahu White on the sidelines. He's gone onto the field. So Egan Butcher's out the back. He's still struggling with that knee.
Well, sideline to you, Lara.
Yeah, I spoke to the Roosters bench. They said he did an ACL test on the field. They were confident that's not what it was, but clearly he's struggling with the knees. They're going to get him off and assess what is exactly going on. White back into the action.
Yeah, those assessments are done quickly on the field. That can change. And that certainly looked what it was like. 6 again for the Roosters, for the Raiders.
In great position, Mooney tries the power play. And Trey takes them stopping. Nafahu White and Terrell May accommodate. Darpany.
Desperate to score here, the Raiders.
Levi for Rapana. Weeks goes on. Here's Timoko. Matt Timoko runs out of room. Crichton, Tupou and Keary making sure of that. A set restart. Rapana. Penalty to Canberra.
Angus, got to let go, mate. No.
Well, it was Matt Timoko that got around Joseph Swali'i, and he's a powerhouse, isn't he? Takes the tackle. And Angus, well, just doesn't let go.
Tried to hide it. Couldn't fool Todd Smith. Mooney again. His 6th carry for the game. Off the bench, Tarpany. He wants a try in game 200. Levi finding Hudson Young. Your try-scoring edge forward does it again.
Well, it's put on a platter for him. Whoever sprinted up off the line in front of his own teammates, I don't know who it is. We'd have to have a look at the replay, but that just opened it straight up for Hudson Young. See who it is. Have a look on the goal line. Just sprint straight up in front of his teammate, straight in behind.
Sam Walker.
Sam Walker it was. Gee, that puts pressure on the inside man. Look at that.
And that was Spencer Leniu, and the legs tackle, well, just wasn't good enough. So Sam Walker moved fast. Spencer Leniu didn't move fast with him, and that allowed the space to open up there for Hudson Young, who was good enough to score a try. He scored a double last week to get the Raiders the win over the Bulldogs, and the combination that he formed with Ethan Strange down that left-hand side, which we haven't seen much of this afternoon, But Hudson Young just has a knack of getting the ball across the stripe.
2 tries last week in the wing against the Bulldogs. The winning try against Manly the game before that. Late, so he scored in 3 straight games, and look at that, he tops the try-scoring tally at the Raiders this season. And Steve Roach, I know that you have him in your New South Wales Origin lineup.
Well, I've got him in the 17 anyway, and I also got Crichton in there, so a couple of good back rowers, both play on the left-hand side. As you said, Hudson Young's got the ability to find the stripe.
Big kick, Jordan Rapana, to get it back to 12 points the difference. 2 converted tries. And Jordan leaves it out to the right across the face of goal. So 14 the difference. Mark that moment down. Ricky Stewart, the eyebrows tell you the story about the conversion attempt, but yeah, Hudson Young getting away from Spencer Leniu.
Great instinct, hasn't he, Hudson Young? Whether it's chasing a kick, whether it's putting a kick in himself, whether it's just accelerating as he saw the space open up there. Just knows where to put himself and the ball to make the most of what the defence is offering.
And didn't they need that too, the Canberra Raiders? Maybe that'll give them the little bit of lift that they needed. And a fair bit of possession after letting in a try early in the second half. Let's see if this is a mini comeback from them.
Tapani takes the run from the kickoff. We go inside the final half hour. Recent history has a string of single-figure margins between these 2 clubs. A great rivalry. Back to and including the 2019 grand final. A penalty invites the Raiders down the field again.
Same thing happened in the first half. The Roosters got off to a terrific start, scoring the opening 2 tries. Then they gave a couple of penalties away. That gave the Raiders field position, and the Raiders have, at the moment, have got a pretty good strike rate. When they get down the other end, they can come up with points. Haven't spent anywhere near the time the Roosters have inside the opposition 20, but their strike rate is much better.
Luke Keary just creeping a little high, trying to stop Elliott Whitehead. And Whitehead's eyes go straight to referee Todd Smith. The drums are beating in the capital. The Raiders want this crowd to jump on board. Tim McCall. Slightly, it was blocked at the offload for Rapana. Now Whitehead. Just inside the 10. Starting out there in 14. Rapana jumping around. He goes to Mooney. Trey's ready for the offload. Brandon Smith shuts that down. Morgan Smithies finding Ethan Strange under pressure. The groan from Greg Alexander was because Manu had the target set on Ethan Strange. Now, Rapana measures the kick. It's taken in the field of play and jumped back into the in goal. Goal line dropouts.
Yeah, it was Joey Manu quickly out of the line to try and shut things down, and he had to. If he doesn't make the tackle on Ethan Strange, he's left himself vulnerable and the side down that left edge. But it was a good save on Ethan Strange. Not an easy man to pull down. There's the short chip from Jordan Rapana and Joseph Swali'i. Goes from the field of play into the in goal.
The goal line dropout with Tedesco off the line in a hurry, and he gets the bounce. How did he get there so quickly?
Gee, that's a big play, isn't it? I know nothing is set in stone now with the short dropouts. It's not a repeat set. You got to earn the repeat set and get the dropout. And the Roosters were good enough to come up with possession. The short one, short straight, and Tedesco gets the bounce straight to his hands.
And he got around Hudson Young. He timed his start perfectly. Mafahu White. There's been a tower in the middle today as Egan Butcher has that right knee iced. He's trying to get an update on the knee of Egan. We'll get to her when we can. And a penalty here to the Roosters. Tap and go to Terrell May.
They can't hang on here. The Raiders just trying to slow the Roosters down.
He's been at his evasive best again. Tedesco slipping and sliding past defenders. Leniu gets the ball away. White shrugs away from Chris and gets the offload. It's 2-on-1. It's a try to Joey Manu. They were too strong through the middle corridor. Then it opens up on an edge. The Roosters are cock-a-hoop in the capital.
Well, they got themselves a penalty, and Terrell May just took the quick tap, and I didn't know whether he'd done the right thing or not, but Tedesco trailed him and then ran another 10 or 15 metres. Passes under pressure here, and Nafahu White shrugs away from the Canberra Raiders defenders to get a flick pass out to Sam Walker, quickly transfers it to Joey Manu, and Manu 2-on-1, he takes the right option all the time, but Nafahu White started the game at the back of the scrum with Victor Radley playing in the back row and has had a cracking game. Now, we asked Trent Robinson, was it specific to Canberra, that the fact that you started Victor on the edge, and he said, well, it is, but we'll see how things go. And I'd have to say that Nafahu White in the middle of the field has been outstanding. Only small sample size with Victor playing in the back row, but at the moment it's working.
I'll tell you what they have got, the Roosters, the ability to go up a year. Every time they look like they're under any sort of pressure, they get the football back down here with Tedesco getting it from the line drop out. And you're right, White with the ability to stand in the tackle, but the poor old Raiders are trying to slow them down, giving away penalties. They can't stop them. It's a juggernaut at the moment. So many players in their side have got the ability to stand in the tackle. They got the overlap that time. Manu with an easy try.
Leniu the offload, White the offload, Manu the try. Now Swaliti the conversion. It's 30 points to 10.
Well, from fullback to front row, the Roosters have a team full of tackle breaking, offloading players. That's when you run through what they've been doing this year, and just look at those offloads there. The pass from Spencer Leniu put pressure on Nafahu White, but he bounced around 3 Canberra defenders, then held them off to flick the ball out the back. Joey Manu does the rest, but you know, when you include their wingers and both centres, Swaliti and Joey Manu, Blocky, how do you stop a side like that when they get as much possession as the Roosters have had? They've got through 26 sets, the Raiders only 20 sets.
You know, unfortunately, a couple of the other sides in the competition have got 3 or 4 blokes who can break a game open. These guys have got 12.
Yep.
And here's one of them, relishing the kick return, Spencer Leniu. The Fox Sports Lab straight onto this scoreline and informing me that it's only the 4th time the Roosters have scored 30 points in Canberra, and the first time since 2004. I mentioned what an unhappy hunting ground Canberra had been, and that illustrates it. Well, they've got 30 in Canberra today. It's a good place to visit today for the Sydney Roosters. Tedesco. Crichton with another offload. Here's May, fed by Brandon Smith. They push one too many passes, and here's Ethan Strange was looking for a support player. Savage was his man, but couldn't take the ball.
Well, they just pushed one too many passes there. It was Terrell May who thought he might have been able to get one around the back. Just watch, he comes up past the ball. Victor Radley there, and it was Ethan Strange who plucked it and then tried to throw one to Xavier Savage, and because there was no touch from the Roosters, well, there's no advantage, so it's just knock on Raiders. And Roosters with the possession again.
So the Canberra coach watches on with more than 20 minutes to play. They came into this game having won 3 of their 4 games here, but the one blot was a big one, 40 blot against Cronulla. Does today's scoreboard get away from them as well? Or do they rally late? A penalty aids the Roosters.
So they just want to keep playing on. The quicker the game, the better the Roosters like it.
Foul play against you. No, you can't. You've got to clear the ruck, though. Hey, time off.
If he keeps going.
Yep. Hey, be very careful. Come over here. Okay.
Take a deep breath.
I had no issue with the tackle, okay? Let me talk. Let me talk, okay? I've listened to what you had to say. Stand up. Elliot, stand up, mate. I'm not going to talk to you. Stand up. Okay? You then slow out, and then you come down with a facial on the ground, mate. Hey, be very careful. You come down again like that, you risk further action.
Well, Todd Smith has showed remarkable patience there.
He warned him 3 times.
Be careful 3 times.
I've never been a ref, but I would have said him. I'd have said 10, mate, that's it. Stop arguing.
He has been riding him all day, Elliott Whitehead. Todd Smith will wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning hearing Elliott's voice in his head. The Roosters are right on the attack here, looking to build on the 20-point lead. And a set restart as well.
That's all they needed.
Just check on Elliott for me. What's he saying now? Brandon Smith comes for Leniu. Just standing and swatting Raiders away. Throwing jabs that he'll say offends. Bit of feeling creeping into the game late. Keary, Tedesco, Swalei, Joseph Swalei keeps the good times coming for the Roosters.
Well, they continue their dominance, more possession down this end of the field for the Roosters, and they've just got too much strike on the edges. It was Joey Manu last time on the right side, now the left. Spencer Leniu, he got himself going backwards, but thought he'd use the fend to get himself going forward. He wanted to fend Jordan Rapiner a number of times, didn't he?
Well, the great thing about it is he got 5 players engaged in the tackle from Spencer Leniu. He plays the ball quick, and look what happens.
Yeah, they just can't make the tackle on Swalei, so... the Roosters just too dangerous on the edges. We've spoken about the ability to break tackles, the passing game, the ball movement. It had the Raiders under the pump early in the game. They weren't prepared for it. And now the amount of possession just continues to swing their way. They've been able to get through another 3 sets since last time I mentioned possession. They've now got through 29 sets. The Raiders are still stuck on 20. So they've had the ball for the last 10 minutes. Canberra, very little possession. They only got it for 1 play. They threw it into touch. Again, it went to the Roosters, who started their set on halfway, got a set restart through that set of 6 tackles, and in the end, you're just not going to be able to defend a side that can attack like this.
Well, you can't defend the 6 agains all the time. You give away another set of 6 against this Roosters side, you can't hang on.
Set restarts, Blocky 6-2 in the Roosters' favour.
You can't hang on.
Penalty 6-5 in the Roosters' favour.
So 12-7 on the infringement front. And Joseph Swalei, one of the Origin hopefuls, none of whom have missed the chance today to impress across both teams.
They've all been good.
Good strike rate this season over the kicking tee as well.
Didn't play him in the centres in the Origin, Randy? Swalei.
Well, you can play either, can't you? Centre or wing.
He drags this one to the left of the uprights. 34 points to 10. The Roosters heading towards a 7-5 record, and they've raced to the top of the differential count on the NRL ladder as you look at the try again.
You know the other thing too, the width of the play the ball and the width of the pass straight away off the ground from Brandon Smith straight into Keary. They've already beat 3 defenders.
Take the tip,
That's
though,
why they were
no
caught.
more, okay, from anyone.
They're still arguing. Oh, no. Just the width of the pass from dummy half there.
Stay inside,
that was the
Jordan.
killer.
So the sin bin awaits, because very direct there from Todd Smith. Take the tip. No more from anyone. You heard the contact. Spencer Leniu just loving the physicality. We might go to Lara and get an update on Egan Butcher as Todd Smith spots an error here. Lara?
Yeah, just at this stage, the Roosters medical team aren't willing to rule anything in or out when it comes to Egan Butcher's knee. Heading for scans is all they're saying at this stage. Perhaps Trent Robinson will reveal a bit more in his post-match press conference.
Okay, thank you. Fingers crossed for Egan Butcher.
And here's Spencer's run from the kick-off, and just a little spill as he hit the ground. It was Seb Chris did a good job, along with Hudson Young there. Hard man to handle.
So the Raiders through Whitehead. Penalty to the Raiders. The ball ripped free. More than one in the tackle.
I love Rapana trying to get on with it straight away. Always at it, isn't he?
Great competitor.
Peter Holler out there playing his first game of the season. His second as a Raider. Here's Whitehead. Starling for Mooney. And they were waiting for Trey. May, Lenu and Crichton. Hard to work your way through that. Over the top, it's Rapana looking for his winger in Kotrick. Instead, they give it back to the Roosters.
That was an all-or-nothing play, that, from Jordan Rapana. And it really wasn't on. The Roosters' defence hadn't come in. There was no one jamming in off their wing. There was no space that was made by Swali'i or Daniel Tupou. Look, he was there even if Kotrick caught that ball. So an all-or-nothing Hail Mary play there from Jordan Rapana.
Oh, it's put down by Radley, picked up by Seb Chris, and the Raiders go straight back on the attack. Now the ball comes free of
from the first knock on, and you strip one
Seb,
no advantage.
But it's Canberra's possession. No advantage taken, says Todd Smith.
We're down the scrum middle. Okay,
he's had a fair bit of explaining to do, Todd Smith, today, hasn't he? No, not just Elliott, but there's been plenty of questions fired at Todd Smith when he's blown the whistle.
Let's work it in.
Trent Robinson, Justin Holbrook. Their team about to go 7 and 5, barring a rapid finish by the Raiders. 17 minutes left. They're down by 24. They need 4 converted tries in a hurry. Whitehead. Starling for Tarpany. Maria Hargreaves back out there again, diving in around the ankles of Tarpany. Here's Holler. From a Cowboy, big break between NRL stints. And now, Kyo Weeks jumping around, no options. He takes the tackle from Brandon Smith, who's been fantastic today. Tarpany, set restart, they were inside the 10. Here's Xavier Savage.
Well, they need a lot to go their way, the Raiders, and that's the start of it. 6 more tackles for them.
Ethan Strange for Hudson Young. Tackled in the opposition count now, all square. Tarpany, this is Holler. Lenu was around his legs. Crichton over the top. Another set and restart for the Raiders. Ethan Strange. Other side of the field, they've knocked it on. And the Roosters come away with it.
Just the speed of the line there of the Roosters too on their goal line. The way they just get up in your face, don't give you any time. Hudson Young this time, just going across field. Tried to throw the miracle ball. Just doesn't happen for them here this afternoon. You put it down to the defence of the Roosters. Know how good they are.
And the fact the Raiders aren't running out of time. It's 34-10. They needed to start scoring in that set. And I guess that scoreboard pressure was telling in the sort of pass that was thrown there.
Nafahu White. Big minutes for Fahu, as they call him today. And Maria Hargreaves. Yeah, Brendan Smith getting a breather. So too Spencer Lenu. Smith applauding the Roosters fans who've headed down the Hume Highway. And Rapana stopped on the spot, a show of strength. Joseph Swali'i.
Oh, he read that the right step from Rapana and just drilled it, didn't he, Joey? Big shot on Jordan. Watch the right step straight into the shoulder of Swali'i.
About going long for Savage. Instead, finds his centre, Seb Chris. Both these teams in action next weekend. A shortened NRL round before Origin. The Raiders off to the Dolphins. The Roosters home to North Queensland. And the Raiders through the middle of the field. And Rapana has been injured
quick on
here.
foul play.
A little bit of a crusher, is it? A little bit of claret coming out of the mouth of Radley.
Penalty here, okay?
Trying to fire up.
Todd Smith spotted a crusher tackle.
Yeah, I think he hit him a little bit high too. A swinging arm there. And in the bicep of Radley. And then the crusher. Double whammy.
The head just popped out at the right time to avoid any more pressure on the neck, but yep, technically a crushing effect momentarily. Kyo Weeks, Starling, Imre Gula. Jarpany. He's up over 120 run metres today, leading all the Canberra forwards. Offload for Starling. Long for Whitehead. Weeks and Timoko now. So hard to get a handle on. He pushes the pass. Manu picks it up. Now Dom Young. Savage had him covered. Young ducks back on the inside. Manu picks up the loose ball. It's play on.
Shift left.
They've got them cut to ribbons on the left. Walker realises. Long to Tedesco, who holds it up beautifully. And Angus Crichton caps a thing of beauty. Brilliant execution by the Roosters. They knew where they had to go, and they got there so effectively.
They have been brilliant this afternoon, the Roosters, with the ball, and that's right from the kickoff. Their ball movement early in the game, I don't think the Raiders were ready for it. We saw Timoko drifting across the field, bouncing away from defenders, then just tried to force the ball, and that's what scoreboard pressure does. They get down that end, they try and come up with a try just about off every play. They know they're behind, they know they need points, but then the play from the Roosters, Joey Manu, Dom Young, they spin it left. Blocky, you made the call, go left. And it was a long one from Sam Walker out to James Tedesco. Double pumped a couple of times to bring the winger up. And that created the space on the inside for Angus Crichton, who was in perfect position to run in another four-pointer.
Yeah, how good is it? Long striding there. Angus Crichton gets into the clear, backs himself. A little bit of a smile as they come over the top there. Well, they know exactly what to do at exactly the right time after that little bit of a clean-up from Manu. A little bit of luck going their way. The ball went on the ground. Manu picks the football up, takes the tackle, and straight away the Raiders, well, they're out on their feet. They've thrown everything at the Roosters, but couldn't get back there in numbers. And Angus Crichton scores another one.
Well, their strike rate have been good with the Raiders. That is when they get down, because they haven't had many opportunities attacking-wise, but they have in this second half, and because they are now so far behind, we've seen the errors creep into their game, push passes, yet trying to pull off miracle balls to come up with the points that they need to get themselves back in the game. And the Roosters have just got enough play. Well, they've got the players, haven't they, to take advantage of a situation like that.
Swali'i can't add the extras. 38 points to 10. Tedesco or Edwards for New South Wales #1. Well, James Tedesco's final say this afternoon reads 3 try assists and a try. A pivotal role in, at this point, a 28-point lead.
Well, it's hard to deny what Dylan Edwards has done over the last 4 years, but James Tedesco is the incumbent captain and fullback. Now, if James wasn't playing well, Dylan would be straight in there because for the last 4 years, he has been the most consistent fullback in the game.
Do you reckon they might find a place for him anyway? They might play him on the wing.
Well, I think there's too many wingers.
Yeah.
There's too many good wingers.
Is that fair to play Dylan Edwards as a winger just to get him
I'll tell
into
you what it
Origin?
is.
That's all for a different team to discuss over the next 48 hours.
Shows you how good our competition
Play
is.
the ball over there, 40-metre line.
That's true.
Sam, back over there, mate.
So the
40.
short kickoff goes
10 in.
wrong for the Raiders. And the Roosters, they won't stop here. I mentioned that differential. They came into the game plus 107, trailing only the Sharks by 18. Well, they've gone to the top of the pops now. A 28-point lead here. So 100 and 35, their differential. Their 7th win looming large as we go inside the final 10 and look at Fahu White. Just get the leg drive going. Walker. Who's Manu? Ridden into the ground and the Raiders say he lost the ball. The officials think otherwise. Maria Hargreaves, Keary on the run, Tedesco, who's passed to ground, picked up on the fly by Tupou. Swali, he loops around and is stopped by Kotrick. Keary will kick low across the face of the uprights to Young. And Radley leaves the ball behind, still the last. That ball looked forward and it's called accordingly.
Hand over there.
Got some skill, haven't they?
Forward pass, hand over there.
We're in that sort of mood, aren't they? And they have been right from kickoff. Right from kickoff, they started to move the ball, and I'm not surprised that the game has turned out this way. The Raiders tried to get themselves back in the game at different stages, but it's just been a different class this afternoon.
So Canberra headed towards a second loss at GIO Stadium this season. The Roosters headed towards another road win. They've been able to take their form away from Allianz Stadium, where they'll return next Sunday, tomorrow week against North Queensland. Tarpany set restart for the Green Machine. Well done again to the Sydney Roosters. Chloe Sadler designing their Indigenous jersey, which you can buy online. Money's raised going to great Indigenous causes. So too the Canberra Raiders as Hudson Young gets the ball away. Just an ankle tap stopping Ethan Strange. Starling, Rapana. Young was looking for a second try. Rapana couldn't find him. Kayo Weeks skips to the outside and Kayo goes in for the Raiders' 3rd try. Too little, too late. At least there's a highlight for the Raiders fans who've stayed around.
Yeah, we spoke about KO Weeks in the pre-game, Matty, and just what sort of running game he had and what attributes he brings to this Canberra side. Now that him and Ethan Strange have been the halves pairing for a month now, and just too quick for Luke Keary, which is saying something, because Luke Keary still has plenty of speed left in his legs. But Kayo Weeks has been one of... I watched him come through the New South Wales Pathways blocker, and as a 5'8" fullback, had one of the most dynamic running games of any youngster I've seen. And we saw glimpses of it last week against the Bulldogs. Haven't seen much today because they've been playing on the back foot, but he is one hell of a runner of the footy.
Yeah, great to see him back himself. If you had a look at that, Luke Keary just looked in field a little bit. Got caught just that 1 second, flat-footed. Weeks with enough pace to beat him on the outside.
I mentioned Chloe Sadler designing the Roosters jersey. Culcafe doing a great job with the Raiders jersey. Indigenous round adopted by everyone with so much benefit. Educate, celebrate, connect. Head to nrl.com.au/Indigenous. Moving forward together. From the moment the week started, Josh Addo-Carr speaking so passionately, Cody Walker as well. It's around the whole game can be proud of. And all the artists, be they boots or jerseys they've designed, take a bow. Congratulations. So a shortish restart this time, bringing Savage forward. He offloads the ball and finds Emre Gula on the move. Peter Holler. Good to see him back in the NRL. One game as a Raider last season. Second coming in round 12, 2024. And a penalty will give the Green Machine more ball.
It's not quick on fair play. Time off. We'll stop the clock. Off you go.
Later on, off to Cronulla. Sharks v Panthers. Straight after this game, in fact. And tonight, Rabbitohs v Eels. But firstly, how do we finish here? The Raiders have scored the last try through Kyo Weeks. Do they go back-to-back? Tarpany for Gula. The starting front rowers combining. Josh Papali'i back next weekend from that one-game suspension. Rapana over the top, long for Kotrick, who comes in off his wing to gather the rainbow ball. And he pops the offload. Timoko now. Getting a little leeway from the Roosters' defence all of a sudden. And there was none of that for the first 70 minutes of the game. Rapana over the top, another long ball. Savage for the corner. He gets there. Manu tackled Xavier Savage, but it came too late.
Coming to tackle 4.
And the Indigenous dance celebrates the 4-pointer.
Running around the lead, mate, and then passing the ball.
Well, we've got no try from Todd Smith. He thinks that Jordan Rapana, who threw the long ball out to Xavier Savage, has run behind one of his lead runners. It's Peter Holler that was going through.
Okay, Peter Holler's a lead runner. He pulls up in the line. Jordan Rapana then runs around the lead runner and takes his advantage by playing on.
It's old-fashioned.
We have a decision.
We won't even call that obstruction. That's just the old-fashioned run behind your player.
My dad still calls it a shepherd.
Yeah, well, that's the old-fashioned shepherd. Throw a dummy, run behind the bloke you just dummied to, and then see how things fare after that.
So 5 minutes left. Savage denied. Keary shoots from the sideline, and there's time for the Roosters to go into the 40s. Remembering their average points haul for the last month, 42 points per game. 60 on the Dragons, 40 on the Broncos, 38 on the Warriors, and 30, a beaten 30 against Cronulla. The points are flowing for this team that has a great power game through the middle and some wonderful attacking weapons. What are they building towards in 2024, the Roosters? Keary.
It's such an important game for them too. They'll jump into the 8 now. They were 9th coming into this game. They had to win this game. We know how good they've played over the last month, but they get themselves in that 8.
Here's Swali'i. Sandon Smith out there in jersey 14 now. Tedesco taking a leaf out of Walker's book a couple of weeks ago, kicks high across the ground. Not so effective this time.
No, I don't think it is his G-O.
You're right.
He's feeling confident.
Stick to running and breaking tackles.
So the Raiders with Kotrick now. They've impressed so many. The Green Machine from the start of this season, following that 2-win, 2-loss sequence all the way through. So after 2 wins over the last couple of games, here they are with a loss before the Dolphins at Redcliffe next weekend. Starling finds Weeks, who reefs the ball down the ground towards Tedesco. And a penalty to the Roosters.
In front of the ball, Jared.
Penalty to the Raiders.
Obstruction. He's in front of the ball.
Marco. So let's go.
No. Back, James. Let's go.
Marco.
When you're ready.
So the penalty actually goes to the Raiders. You heard the explanation from Todd Smith, and Matt Timoko tries to barge through Whiten and Keary unsuccessfully. Big Super Saturday still to come. Sharks, Panthers, Rabbitohs, Eels. Ben Hornby against Trent Barrett in the coach's box. Who saw that coming? As we go through Ethan Strange, Rapana, now Savage. Again, he's ridden over the sideline.
Ready on the scrum. To scrum.
I think when he received the ball then, he knew he was odds on not to score. Rapana just trying to create some space for him, but Dom Young fell for nothing and just went straight to his man.
On the shot clock, boys.
Ahead Sharks, Panthers. Tommy Hazelton, 5 tries. That's more tries than any Sharks prop through 11 rounds of the competition since 1967. How many tries?
Great form.
Tommy Hazelton
He's
finished.
playing good footy. He might finish double figures, Matt. That's unheard of.
I think he's a special.
It's a good go between the middle forwards with Adam Fanua-Blake collecting 5 already. Not in action for the Warriors this weekend. Mark Nichols has 4. 1 more gives him his best try-scoring season. Blocky Prop scoring tries.
How good is it? Game has evolved.
Here's Jared Warrior-Hargreaves. Oh, look at Radley storm onto the ball. Keary is gone, ankle tapped. Still getting the ball away. It is brilliant. It's brilliant for James Tedesco to get a double. Keary finding his captain after Radley streaked through as a right side edge forward.
Well, Radley's going to finish the game like he started it. 3rd minute try from Victor Radley, who just ran straight and hard and opened up the Raiders' defence. This time gets through a tackle of Ethan Strange, which isn't easy to do. Seb Chris couldn't get over the top or give any help to him. And then Victor Radley ran directly to Jordan Rapana to give Luke Keary the best chance to score the try. Didn't muck around. Ankle tap from Hudson Young showed great speed to stay with Keary, but the awareness and the ability and the class just to be able to flick it to James Tedesco. They have scored and played some great footy today.
Now, that's a side that's loving their footy. That's a 79th minute to score a try like that. Great support play, great awareness. Keary thought he was in for all money. Gets ankle tap. Teddy right on the spot.
Victor Radley with his straight, hard running on the edge. Had to give Trent Robinson a bit to think about.
You mentioned it earlier, Blocker. They're playing catch-up after winning only 3 of their first 7 games, the Roosters. This will give them 4 of their last 5, and Trent Robinson is looking to spend the back half of the season climbing up through that top 8. He's seen enough today to be delighted. The Roosters fans who've travelled will be happy as well. There are 44 points on the board. Their average over the last month extends into a 5th week. They've beaten the Raiders 44-16.